Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jaimie C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jaimie C. Cohen, and I am so excited that today we have Peter Wishnie here with us. Now, Peter brings 34 years of podiatry experience and 13 years of healthcare practice coaching to help practitioners create thriving practices that align with their ideal lifestyle. Now, here's the thing, folks. I personally met Dr. Peter, and I think he's one of the coolest people to walk the earth. So I'm so excited that you're here today. Will you tell me right now, Peter, whether or not someone's working in the healthcare profession, right? What is two things that everyone needs to know right now in 2026?
About the healthcare profession.
Anything, because I know you're a wealth of like life experiences.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Jenny. So I appreciate that. So two things that people should know about. So I want to make sure I get this right about
anything that you're getting a download on right now as we're in the beginning of 2026.
Oh, just anything in life in general. Wow, it's just open-ended. I think just some pearls of wisdom. I think right now this world is very much divided. We've got Bad Bunny on our mind, but I always think this love is powerful, and I want to just share this with you. There was a time when I was going through my divorce, and it was a hard time, and I had a life coach, and I like life coaches, and she always said, if you're in a situation that always think about what if I came from love, answering or this problem with love. And if you have an employee that's giving you a hard time, how do you respond to them from love? And the reason being is because you could yell at them for something they did or didn't do and get upset with them. Mm-hmm. Whatever they did or didn't do, it's just already happened. You as the boss really have some power in the sense that they're not working out, and you did everything you could to get them to work out, and still doesn't work out. You could say, I'm sorry, it's not a good fit. So why do you have to scream at them, yell at them? Come from love and try to help them and do your best. So just any situation, just don't, everybody's yelling at everyone today. Stop yelling, just come from love, and it's more powerful. People hear the words more strongly when you come from love, right? You're yelling and screaming at them. What they're going to do, they're going to yell back, right? And no one, I'm watching all these Instagram videos, everybody's yelling at it. I can't even hear what they're saying. And so let people finish and then respond with love, even if it's like don't have to agree with them, but just respond with kindness. That's what I'm basically saying. So that's the first thing. And the next thing is that a lot of people have anxiety today. And I'm not talking about clinical anxiety. I'm talking about anxiousness and moments of anxiety, but not clinically, like clinical depression. That's something different. Anxiety comes from lack of clarity and focusing on the fear of the unknown of the future. Mm-hmm. And why don't we just stay in the present? What can you do today? And if you do something consistently every single day, eventually you'll get closer to where you want to be. Instead of worrying about like, will this work? Will it not work? If you know a lot of people that are trying something, did something, this is how they did it, it will and it worked for them, why won't it work for you? So just stay on the horse and be confident in yourself and have clarity, knowing what you want to do and what you need to do, and just do it, and the anxiety will go away.
I love this advice because you're now retired from your practice. You really, really seen a lot of the world. Like, so my audio podcast audience, you don't see us, come to YouTube and you'll see that Peter's a very distinguished older person who, for me, because I've seen you so many times in real life, right? You are exactly the way you're presenting someone who doesn't really, you don't sugarcoat things, you don't like say things to make people feel better. And so I find it very, very worthwhile for you to be saying to people, reminding people, come from love always, right?
Right.
And has an immigrant to this country because I'm in my 50s and I came when I was like 4, almost 5 years old, and we're naturalized citizens. However, to see just a celebration of joy for me, even though it wasn't necessarily my culture, but to see other people reveling in just being alive. I juxtapose that against the walk for peace that when this episode goes live, it will be over with the monks who were walking from Texas to DC, and how the people who would meet them on the road were so desperate for peace. If you go back and watch all of the video, it's under all of the social media under Walk for Peace. And they're just these monks that decided they wanted to walk for peace. And they were really hidden until they were in a car accident where one of the monks lost his leg. Yeah, his leg was shattered and they had to amputate. And then the media picked up on it and they started becoming like this frenzy of attention. And now, though, the number of people that are waiting out in the cold winter for these monks to walk by them and to give or exchange flowers, and occasionally the monks will stop and bless someone. The level of need, Peter, for peace is at an all-time high.
Well, yes, absolutely. I'm just thinking that monk who lost his leg, um, he served. I mean, sorry he lost his leg, but it's tremendous purpose. I mean, he
Yeah.
gave himself, not by accident. These accidents happen, but do accidents really happen? Everything is there for a purpose, and so he was serving whoever you believe in, but God in this case. He was serving a true purpose, and he's a God made him like a prophet to carry on the message. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. The monk who led it, um, he meditated on it for a year before he went to his mentor who gave him permission. And the monk who lost a leg, in one of his interviews, he said, it was a below knee amputation. And he said, I had a, like, he had a premonition he was going to lose something vital to himself, and he still went. So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of amazing, right? Yeah, the irony is not lost on me because right now for me, I just finished a month training with yin yoga, which is based on marrying restorative yoga with traditional Chinese medicine. And one of the things that the teacher, her name is Mai Elements, really talked about was like your foot health. It's surreal. Like, you're a retired doctor of podiatry, and we're talking
That's
about this
correct.
gentleman who lost his left leg below the knee amputation. And then I'm tying in with Mai, who really talked about like in Chinese traditional medicine, they really suggest you, like, you're constantly bringing circulation to your feet by actually touching your feet, which people in the West don't do. They're all aghast when I'm in dance class. I'm like, you're going to touch your feet now. And they're like, what? No, I can't touch my toes. I'm like, you need to love your toes because without your feet, you're not going anywhere, honestly.
Maybe it's because they couldn't reach their toes.
Well, in my classes, they do eventually reach their toes. That's a goal.
All right, that's a good
And
goal.
right, the fact that when you talked about coming from a place of love, how often do you have people who don't love themselves? Because you coach a lot of people now, that whole self-love. How often do you have
Right.
clients that have difficulty even with that concept?
So it's funny, Jenny, funny in the sense that one of the things I say all the time to these healthcare professionals, doctors, I'm helping them make more money, work less hours in order for them to have a life that they deserve and desire. And I say this all the time because we feel that we are healers and we need to give. It's hard for us to say no to anyone. And so in exchange, we're giving up our life and we don't feel like we deserve it, or we charge our patients a certain amount of money, and insurance doesn't cover it,
Mhm.
then they have a hard time asking for the cash. And instead, they downgrade the service by giving them some other service that might be covered without asking the patient's permission. You know, we have this service, this treatment option. It's not covered, but here's the benefit. And we also have this option that is covered, and here's the pros and cons of that. What would you like to do? But people just automatically just don't want to ask these patients to pay. So they might not get the treatment that they want. And so I feel like you have a job. Your job is just give the patient the options and let them decide. So yes, we have lots and lots of doctors who feel that they don't deserve, um, they have a mindset of scarcity,
Mhm.
and they don't deserve the good things in life. But I have to remind them, you spent so many years in school. Not everyone does what we do. I can't paint, I can't sing. Um, Healing a patient, operating on a patient, that's sort of my art. And I tell the docs, that's your art. Okay, because not everyone can do that, and not everyone can sing, not everyone can dance, right? And so just take your skills and show and just tell people, just you deserve great things because you're helping so many people. So it's a lot of mindset. You can tell people the systems, how to run your practices, but it's all like up here, everything. I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, health coach, whatever it may be. It's all like, um, you deserve everything that comes your way, but maybe even more.
That's an excellent point. I remember when I was an occupational therapist in the hospitals or working in private practice for hand therapy and the hand surgeons, there is a lack of awareness from the general public about how doctors are human too. Like, because I'm old school. I'm 57 now. And back in the day, doctors were elevated and not expected to have like human needs. You had to have all the answers, right? You had to have
Yeah,
all the answers. You had to know everything. And how dare you not be able to give me a straight answer? Like, I want you to give me health back. When nowadays, the trend is more towards, at least my experience, there being much more responsibility. Because, like, I was one of the few people who would go to doctor's appointments with my family and tell the doctor everything that's happening instead of selective truth,
right,
because well, how can the doctor help you? They're not mind readers. I mean, we aren't expecting them to be godlike in their healing, right?
right.
There's an expectation of oh, like for example, if you go to one, like, we've had this personally happen to us, Peter, so I can speak on this. If one of my family members is on an antidepressant, but then they go to
Mm,
another specialist, it's still your job as the client or the patient to let the second doctor know this other doctor prescribed this medication, so that when they put you on another medication, they can figure out that there might be contraindications to it.
mhm.
And a lot of times people go, well, isn't that in my chart? And I'm like, yes, and it's still your responsibility to remind the doctor, because the doctor's seeing like 20 patients a day.
Right,
You're seeing one
exactly.
doctor a day. Like, it's still,
Yeah,
it's like a even exchange of information,
exactly. Yeah,
right?
no, yeah, I know it's frustrating for the public out there to repeat things over and over again. I just um, went for my regular checkup, and then had to get a blood test, and then when I got the blood test, they asked me the same questions my medical doctor did, but they're all in the same network with the all same EHR health record system, and they can just easily just look it up. Um, but like you said, they just finish a patient, there's another patient, there's another patient. there's no time to constantly to review charts. So here's a piece of advice for everyone. You go to a doctor, just like you said, tell them everything. Don't assume just because it's in your chart, they have read it, and maybe they should read it, and they really should. But the way the health system is, in order for doctors to get paid, because the reimbursement rates for doctors keep on going down every year. We're the only profession that gets a cut in our salary by the healthcare industries, by the insurance companies, where everybody else at least gets the 4%, 2%, 4%, raise every year. We don't. And so they have to see more patients, which is what is wrong with the healthcare system, which I teach doctors that they don't have to buy into that system.
Right.
And there are better ways to treat patients. So you do have the time to look at the chart. You do have time to listen to the patient better. And then you can go home feeling like, you know what, I made a difference today. So it's better for both the patient and the doctor.
I love this. So, my audience, you can go to Peter's website where he has some free resources for you, and it's under Peter Wishnie, PeterWishnie.com. I make sure you go to that. That's also in the description for today's podcast episode. I love that you're able to talk candidly with me about this because I'm an occupational therapist. So everybody loves, like, whenever we're in a hospital setting, people love me because I already know how the system works. I'm
Mhm.
always the wife that's overdoing things, like so that the medical staff doesn't have the burden. I'm the first to step in, and because I understand kind of the that a lot of times the hospital staff, you're stuck between everyone, the clients, the system, the insurance. The bottom line is, like, it is unfortunately hospital settings, or at least the way our medical system is set up here in the US, is very much business oriented. It's not human oriented. And so everyone's struggling to, like, pay their bills, doctors included. And I get that,
Yep.
And I like the fact that it's more of a partnership, really. The more open and clear you are about your needs, the better the doctors can help you, honestly. And remembering that doctors are human too, like they're struggling. They're struggling under the weight of everything.
Yeah. And it's a shame. That's what I'm teaching. Hopefully they don't have to do that.
Yes, I'm glad you're doing that, Peter. I mean, because the bottom line is right now, as they're starting to revamp and help people be more empowered, has what is it? What is that industry now called? It's a biohacking.
Yes.
People are getting more access to information instead of expecting. Like, when I go into my doctor's appointments, it's not to trick them. It's more as like, hey, listen, I read up on this. Can you help me? Like, what's your experience with them? And I would say 50% of the time, um, it becomes this really engaged dialogue back and forth, because my
Nice.
practitioners know, right? I want to have a discussion. I don't want to argue. I just
Right.
want their perspective. Have you read up on it? Like, the person who does my hormone replacement has been really cool because she'll say to me, Jenny, if you find any research that you have a question, send it to me and I'll read it. Because sometimes, I mean, I'm an
Oh,
OT,
cool.
I've done research papers. I used to remember how to analyze them, but sometimes I look at them and I'm confused. I'm like, what exactly is this report saying? Because people say, well, I read this report and it says this. And I'm like, I'm not getting that. And then this practitioner was like, just send me the research and I'll read it and help you decipher it. Because the point is that you want to have a team of people working with you, not um, people in the healthcare industry, everyone that was listening in, their goal is to help us.
Right.
That's why they entered the profession.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact you said 50% because if you're, you know, there's a lot of information out there, especially on social media, and some of it's good, some of it's not. But then take that information, bring it to your professional, bring it to the doctor. Now, if your doctor is not educated on it, that's one thing. We talked about this earlier. It's okay. I mean, the best doctors are the ones that say, you know what, I don't really know much about this, versus the ones that say, that's all garbage, but how they did the research, and the ones who poo-poo everything, and don't want that dialogue. Um, Maybe it's not the right doctor for you. Um, but it's, just take information and then bring it to your physician and and do some deeper dive research before you accept everything. As you know, there's a lot of snake oil out there. There's a lot of supplements. I've tried a bunch of things. First thing is, will it do any harm? No. So let me give it a shot. I'm still bald, so it didn't, that shampoo didn't really work. So
I do miss your humor. Well, I'll tell you that my hair started getting thicker from being on the hormone replacement because I was starting to
sure.
get bald, and I was like, oh my God. One of the things I gave up after chemo, I was like, at least the hair's going to grow back. Then I
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, the hair's coming back. So that's nice. But I'll tell
yeah.
you, what I really am enjoying about the hormone replacement has been the increased strength and recovery. Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jaimie C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?